What if the person you are desperately trying to hold on to is no longer there, and the weight you are carrying is only a ghost of your own making? Most people do not realize that the deepest exhaustion does not come from a broken heart. It comes from living in a past that has already closed its doors. If you have ever felt stuck, waking up with a heavy chest, replaying old conversations in the quiet of the night, or waiting for a feeling to return that has already drifted away, this is for you. Stay until the end, because the final lesson may change the way you see this pain forever. Here is the truth few people want to face. The tighter you hold on to someone who is already gone, the more you suffer. We carry people long after the physical relationship has ended. We build secret rooms for them in our minds. We wake up and immediately check the empty space beside us or the silent screen of a phone. We analyze their old words, trying to find hidden meanings in their final silences. We negotiate with memories. We convince ourselves that if we just hold on a little longer, if we just keep the thought of them alive, we will not have to face the absolute finality of their absence. But in doing so, we trap ourselves in a phantom reality. We are no longer interacting with a living, breathing person. We are interacting with an echo. We are fighting a war that has already ended on a battlefield that has long been empty. Buddhist wisdom teaches a profound truth about this exact pain. Much of our suffering is not caused by the changing nature of life, but by our rigid refusal to accept it. We suffer because we cling to the illusion of permanence. We want the beautiful moments to freeze in time. This is the heavy chain of attachment. People often confuse attachment with love, but they are very different. Love is free, flowing, and present. Attachment is rooted in fear. It is the desperate grip tightening around water, trying to hold the river still. Imagine walking a long, weary road, carrying a heavy, jagged stone in your arms. Your muscles burn, your back bends under the strain. You can barely lift your head to see the beautiful landscape around you. A traveler passes by and asks why you refuse to put it down. You reply, "Because this stone used to be a warm fire. It used to keep me safe, but the fire is out. The warmth has dissolved into the wind. Now it is just a heavy, cold stone." You are not keeping the fire alive by holding the stone. You are only breaking your own back. Think about your own life. How much of your daily energy is spent carrying the weight of a relationship that has already run its course? You measure your self-worth against their absence. You let a phantom dictate your inner peace in the present moment. Ask yourself right now, are you holding on because this memory brings you true joy? Or are you holding on because you are terrified of the empty, quiet space they will leave behind? What are you afraid will happen if you finally open your hands and set the heavy stone down? Pause, breathe, observe this heaviness without judging yourself for carrying it. You are not foolish or weak for holding on. You have simply loved deeply, and your heart is trying to protect itself. But you must acknowledge the weight. Notice how tired your spirit has become. Let the feeling of exhaustion rise without making it your identity. You are allowed to be tired. You do not have to carry the past to prove that it mattered. It is okay to lay it down, because peace is not something you chase. It is something you make space for, and you cannot make space for the present while your hands are full of the past. But realizing the weight of the stone is only the first step. The mind has a habit of punishing itself, returning to the very things that cause it pain. And this is where the next truth begins. Why does the memory of heartbreak often hurt far more than the actual moment it happened? Here is a truth that is difficult to swallow. The initial wound is not what keeps you bleeding. It is the story you keep telling yourself about the wound. When a relationship ends, we rarely just let it end. We drag the memories into the present and dissect them. We replay the final conversations endlessly in our minds. We analyze every flaw, every ignored message, every cold silence. We ask, why wasn't I enough? Or If I had just been a little more patient, would they have stayed? This overthinking turns a closed chapter into an endless loop of self-inflicted punishment. We take a painful event and weaponize it against our own peace of mind. In Buddhist thought, there is a profound teaching known as the 2 arrows. When something difficult happens in life, a sudden loss, a harsh rejection, the end of love that is the first arrow, it strikes you, and it causes genuine, unavoidable pain. You cannot control the first arrow. It is the simple reality of being human. But then comes the second arrow. This is the arrow of our reaction. It is the guilt, the overthinking, the resentment, and the desperate what-ifs. The second arrow is fired by our own hand. Buddhism reminds us that while the pain of the first arrow is inevitable, the suffering of the second arrow is entirely optional. Imagine a bird sitting peacefully on a fragile branch. Suddenly, the wood snaps, and the bird begins to fall. That broken branch is the first arrow, but instead of simply opening its wings and letting the wind carry it, the bird begins to fight the air. It looks back at the broken wood and screams. It twists and turns, consumed by anger, wondering why the tree betrayed it. It refuses to accept that it is falling. In doing so, it forgets it has wings, and it crashes heavily to the ground. The broken branch did not destroy the bird. The resistance to the fall did. Think of how this plays out in your own life. The physical separation, the packing of boxes, the last goodbye, the sudden emptiness on a Saturday night is the first arrow. It hurts deeply. It is meant to hurt. But then you fire the second arrow. You spend months checking their social media. You compare your quiet grief to their apparent happiness. You convince yourself that you are unlovable or that your best days are entirely behind you. Ask yourself, how many times have you fired the second arrow today? How much of your current suffering is the simple reality of their absence? And how much is the complex story your mind is spinning about that absence? Are you merely grieving the person, or are you torturing yourself with the narrative of being left behind? Pause, breathe. The next time you catch your mind spiraling into a dark story of why or what if, gently interrupt it. Let the thought pause in the air. Say to yourself, that is the second arrow. Do not judge yourself for holding the bow. Just acknowledge what you are doing. Feel the raw pain of the first arrow, the pure, quiet grief of loss, without adding a heavy layer of self-blame on top of it. Let the feeling rise without making it your identity. You do not need to punish yourself to prove that the loss was real. Because true healing begins the moment you drop the bow. But to stop firing that second arrow, you must first understand the very nature of the branch that broke. You must understand the silent law that governs everything we love. And this is where the next truth begins. What if the very thing that makes love beautiful is also the exact reason it cannot stay the same forever? Here is the truth few people want to face. We are taught to believe that if something ends, it has failed. We believe that a relationship must last for an entire lifetime to be considered successful, real, or meaningful. And so, when someone pulls away, when the warmth fades, when the connection quietly dissolves, we feel cheated. We try to force the situation to remain exactly as it was. We demand permanence from a world that is constantly shifting. We try to lock the door to keep them inside, but all we do is trap ourselves in a room where the air is running out. One of the deepest lessons of Buddhism is the profound truth of impermanence. Everything changes, every joy, every sorrow, every physical form, and every human bond. Buddhism reminds us that impermanence is not a cruelty of the universe. It is the very nature of existence. A relationship is not a solid object you can hold in your pocket. It is a flowing process. It is a river. When we try to make a temporary experience permanent, we are trying to stop the river with our bare hands. Imagine sitting by a lake at sunset. The sky bursts into brilliant shades of orange, violet, and gold. It is breathtaking, but you love the sunset so much that you refuse to let it go. You reach out your hands to grab the light. You beg the sun to stop moving. You become so frantic and desperate to keep the colors from fading that you completely stop enjoying the beauty of the sky. And despite all your crying and clinging, the night still falls. The sunset did not fail because it became dark. It simply completed its natural cycle. Relationships are no different. They bloom in their own time, and sometimes their season simply passes. But we fight the seasons of the heart. We hold on to the version of a person who no longer exists. We try to recreate a spark that has already returned to the earth. We think that because a relationship has run its course, the love was a lie. We fail to see that a connection can be profound, life-changing, and deeply real even if it does not last forever. Think about your own life. Are you invalidating a beautiful chapter just because the book turned to the next page? Are you punishing yourself for a sunset that naturally faded into night? Ask yourself right now, what if the relationship you are mourning did not fail? What if it simply finished what it came into your life to do? Pause, breathe, observe the memory of what was. Let the feeling of gratitude for the beautiful moments rise, without demanding that those moments return. You can love the fact that it happened, without needing it to happen again. Let life meet you where you are. Stop trying to force the door open when the lock has already been changed. You do not have to diminish the beauty of the past, just because it is no longer your present. The love you gave was real, and the lessons you learned are yours to keep. But knowing that everything changes does not instantly make letting go easy. When fear grips the heart, the immediate instinct is to tighten our hold even further, thinking that control will bring us safety. And this is where the next truth begins. What if the deep exhaustion you feel every day is not actually caused by the absence of the person you loved? What if it is caused by the immense, invisible effort it takes to keep your hands clenched tightly around their memory? Here is a truth that is hard to accept. We often believe that letting go means we must become cold, bitter, or completely empty. We fear that if we stop actively missing them, if we stop replaying the memories, it means the love was not real. And so, we hold on. We hold on to the anger, the unresolved questions, the lingering hope, and the deep sadness. We clench our emotional fists so tightly around the past that our inner world aches. We believe that this tight, desperate grip is the only thing keeping us connected to what we lost. But Buddhist wisdom teaches a very different approach. The concept of non-attachment is frequently misunderstood. Many people hear detachment and think it means turning your heart into a stone. They think it means abandoning love. But Buddhism reminds us that non-attachment is not about becoming indifferent. It is not about destroying the love you once felt. It simply means loving without the desperate need to possess or control. It is the quiet, courageous practice of opening the hand. Imagine standing on a beautiful beach and picking up a handful of dry, golden sand. As long as your hand remains gently open, the sand rests peacefully in your palm. You can admire it. You can feel its warmth. But the moment you become afraid of the wind taking it, the moment you panic and squeeze your fist as tight as you can, the sand begins to escape. It slips forcefully through the cracks of your fingers. The harder you squeeze, the faster it falls. Soon, you are left with nothing but an empty, aching hand, your muscles cramping from the strain of trying to hold on to something that was meant to be free. We do this constantly with past relationships. Even after the connection has ended in physical reality, we continue to squeeze our minds around it. We constantly check their social media, looking for clues about a life we are no longer part of. We hold on to our resentment because, deep down, even anger feels like a tether that keeps them close. We try to force a sense of control over a situation that has already slipped away. But holding on with a clenched fist does not bring them back. It only drains your own spirit. Think about your own life. Think about the silent energy you spend every single day guarding a ghost. Ask yourself right now, are your hands emotionally clenched? What exactly are you holding on to so tightly that it is causing your own heart to bleed? Are you confusing a painful, anxious grip with genuine love? Pause, breathe. Visualize your clenched fists in your mind. Slowly, gently, allow your fingers to uncurl. You do not have to violently throw the memory away. You do not have to banish this person from your heart entirely. Just stop squeezing. Observe the memory without following it down a dark path. Let the reality of their absence rest softly in your open palm. You can open your hand without becoming cold. You can accept that they are gone without turning your love into bitterness, because true peace is not found in controlling the outcome. It is found in the quiet surrender of an open hand. But opening your grip is only possible when you stop fighting the natural shifts and seasons of your life. And this is where the next truth begins. 5. Forgiving the changing seasons. Have you ever noticed how easily we forgive the sky for turning dark, but we refuse to forgive the people we love for doing the exact same thing? Here is a truth that is difficult to hold. When a relationship ends, our immediate instinct is to look for someone to blame. We feel betrayed by the sudden shift in temperature. We hold on to deep resentment because they once promised forever, and then their feelings drifted away. We view their departure as a personal attack, a failure, or a malicious act. We stay furiously angry that the warmth of our shared summer suddenly turned into the biting cold of winter. We believe that if we forgive them for leaving, we are somehow saying that the pain they caused did not matter. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us something profoundly different about forgiveness. In Buddhist thought, everything in the universe is subject to the law of constant change. People are not static monuments made of stone. They are breathing, shifting, unfolding processes. Buddhism reminds us that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior, and it does not require you to invite someone back into your life. It is simply the act of releasing the heavy burden of resentment. It is accepting that human hearts change, just as the earth changes. Imagine a tall, ancient tree standing in a quiet forest. When autumn arrives and the air turns freezing, the tree does not weep for its falling leaves. It does not grow bitter at the frost or curse the wind for carrying its beautiful canopy away. It simply lets the leaves fall. It draws its energy inward, standing tall and trusting the quiet isolation of winter. If the tree furiously held onto its dead leaves, fighting the natural cycle of the earth, it would not survive the cold. It forgives the changing season by completely surrendering to it. We often fail to do this in our own lives. When a partner walks away, or a deep connection quietly fades into silence, we take it deeply personally. We analyze their changing behavior and turn it into a weapon against our own self-worth. We demand to know why the warmth could not last forever. We stay frozen in bitterness, unable to move forward, secretly hating them for acting like human beings whose feelings simply changed. Think about your own life. Look closely at the heavy resentment you are carrying. Ask yourself right now, who are you still holding a silent grudge against simply because their season in your life came to an unexpected end? Are you truly angry at them for hurting you? Or are you just angry that the season changed without your permission? Pause, breathe, release the desperate need to punish them for moving on. Let the anger rise, and gently observe it like a dark cloud drifting across a vast, empty sky. Watch it pass. You do not have to hold on to resentment to validate your grief. You can forgive the changing seasons of the heart. You can let the leaves fall without believing that your own life is over, because releasing your bitterness is the only way to make room for new light to reach your branches. But letting go of anger is only part of the journey. Sometimes, the hardest thing to accept is not that they changed, but how they chose to leave. And this is where the next truth begins. 6. The empty boat on the river. What if the rejection that broke your heart had very little to do with you at all? Here is a difficult truth. When a relationship ends, especially if the ending is abrupt, silent, or cold, our immediate instinct is to internalize it entirely. We assume that their departure was a calculated statement about our value. We think, if I was smarter, kinder, or more attractive, they would have stayed. We view their inability to love us as a direct, personal attack. We take the heavy burden of their actions and place it squarely onto our own shoulders, using their behavior as ultimate proof that we are fundamentally flawed. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us something profoundly freeing about human behavior. Much of our deep suffering comes from the ego, the heavy, persistent illusion that everything happening around us is secretly about us. Buddhism reminds us to look at the actions of others with deep clarity, recognizing that people are usually reacting to their own internal weather, their own unseen fears, and their own past conditioning. Imagine you are rowing a small wooden boat across a quiet, misty river. Out of the dense fog, another boat suddenly appears and crashes violently into the side of yours. If you see a person sitting in that other boat, steering it directly toward you, you will instantly become furious. You will scream at them. You will demand to know why they were so careless, so deeply disrespectful of your journey. You will feel personally attacked. But what if the fog clears and you look closely at the other boat? What if you realize it is completely empty? It merely slipped from its moorings upstream and was pushed aimlessly by the river's blind currents. The moment you realize the boat is empty, your anger vanishes. Your boat is still damaged. The crash still happened. The disruption is entirely real, but you no longer feel personally targeted. You do not hate the empty boat. You simply accept the collision as a difficult event and begin to repair your own vessel. We forget that the people who hurt us most are often empty boats. When someone pulls away, becomes emotionally distant, or suddenly abandons the connection, we imagine they are deliberately steering their boat to crush us. We rarely consider that they are being violently pushed by their own unresolved currents, their deep fears of vulnerability, their hidden confusion, their own inability to navigate the waters of intimacy. Think about your own life. Think about the way the relationship ended. Are you treating it as a calculated attack on your soul? Are you taking someone else's emotional limitations as a final, permanent judgment on your own worthiness to be loved? Ask yourself right now, are you standing in the middle of a beautiful river, furiously yelling at an empty boat? Pause, breathe. Step back from the ego's need to make this pain a story about your inadequacy. Observe their departure without internalizing it. Let the reality of the crash exist without deciding that you deserved it. You are not powerless. You can accept the damage to your boat without carrying hatred for the current that caused it. Because true inner peace arrives the moment you stop trying to steer a vessel that was never yours to control. But even when you realize their departure was not a personal failure, the quiet, aching space they left behind still demands to be felt. And this is where the next truth begins. 7. Grieving without clinging. Is it possible to cry for what is lost without silently begging it to return? Here is a truth that is deeply uncomfortable. When we lose a relationship, we often confuse our grief with our love. We believe that if we stop hurting, it means we have stopped caring, and so we actively feed our own heartbreak. We listen to the same sad songs, we revisit the places we used to go, and we allow the sadness to become a permanent resident in our minds. We wear our grief like a heavy winter coat in the middle of summer, refusing to take it off, because it feels like the very last tangible thing they gave us. We think that moving on is a betrayal of the memory. But Buddhist wisdom offers a gentle alternative to this exhausting cycle. In Buddhism, mindfulness teaches us to separate the natural emotion from the clinging mind. Grief is a completely natural response to loss. It is the pure, raw energy of love that suddenly has nowhere to go. But profound suffering arises when we attach ourselves to the grief, when we turn a temporary storm into our permanent home. Buddhism reminds us that you can grieve deeply without clinging to the source of the pain. You can honor the sadness without letting it consume your life. Imagine a wide river flowing steadily toward the ocean. When a violent storm breaks, the river swells. The water becomes dark, muddy, and chaotic. If you try to build a sudden wall to stop the flood, the immense pressure will eventually crack the stone and destroy everything in its path. But if you do not fight the current, if you simply let the swollen river flow, the heavy waters will eventually wash out into the vast sea. The mud will settle. The water will become clear and quiet once again. The storm did not destroy the river. The river simply allowed the storm to pass through it. Think about how you handle your own emotional storms. Do you build walls to suppress the pain, only to feel it violently explode later? Or do you drown in the flood, convincing yourself that the muddy water is all there will ever be? We fear that if we let the grief pass, we will be left completely empty. We forget that the river remains long after the storm is gone. Ask yourself right now, are you simply feeling the natural sadness of loss, or are you desperately holding on to the pain as a way to keep their ghost alive in your room? Are you afraid that if you finally stop crying over them, they will truly be gone forever? Pause. Breathe. The next time a heavy wave of sadness washes over you, do not fight it, but do not anchor yourself to it either. Let the feeling rise. Observe the quiet ache in your chest. Let the tears fall if they need to. Do your part. Then release the outcome. Let the storm pass without becoming the storm. You do not need to hold on to the pain to prove that the love was real. You can grieve what is gone while still keeping your hands open. Because true healing is not the absence of sadness. It is the ability to let sadness move through you without destroying your foundation. But as the heavy waters of grief finally begin to recede, you are often left looking at the quiet space left behind. You realize that in the desperate attempt to hold on to them, you dropped something far more important. And this is where the next truth begins. 8. Reclaiming your scattered pieces. What if the deep emptiness you feel inside is not actually the absence of them, but the absence of you? Here is a truth that is easy to overlook when you are buried in heartbreak. When we love someone deeply, we often slowly, quietly hand over the most important pieces of ourselves. We give them responsibility for our joy. We make them the guardians of our self-worth. We adjust our boundaries, silence our own needs, and change our shapes just to ensure they stay. And when they finally leave, we feel completely hollow. We look at the quiet space in our lives and believe that they took our light with them when they walked out the door. We spend months, sometimes years, waiting for them to return, secretly hoping they will bring our missing pieces back. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us something deeply empowering about our true nature. In Buddhism, the concept of inner refuge reminds us that true peace can never be permanently anchored to an external, changing form. When you rely on another human being for your fundamental sense of wholeness, you are building a house on shifting sand. Buddhism reminds us that the love, the joy, and the profound beauty you felt in that relationship did not originate from them. It originated from within you. Imagine walking into a dark, quiet room, holding a single, brightly burning candle. In the center of the room stands a large, beautiful mirror. As you step in front of it, the mirror catches the flame and floods the entire room with brilliant light. You become so mesmerized by the warmth and the glow in the glass that you forget you are the one holding the flame. When the mirror is suddenly taken away, the room feels dark again. You cry out for the mirror. You believe your light is gone forever. But the mirror did not create the fire. It only reflected what you brought into the room. The candle is still in your hands. Think about your own life. Think about the energy you poured into making that relationship survive. You compromised your own peace. You lost touch with your own quiet silence. You made their shifting moods the center of your universe. When they were happy with you, you felt worthy. When they ignored you, you felt like nothing. You stopped living your own life and started living as a mere extension of theirs. Ask yourself right now, what pieces of your own soul did you surrender just to keep them comfortable? Are you truly mourning the loss of them? Or are you secretly mourning the parts of yourself you abandoned along the way? Pause, breathe, close your eyes, and visualize all the fragmented pieces of your energies scattered in their memory. Quietly call them back. You do not need their permission to be whole again. You do not need an apology to reclaim your worth. Stop waiting for the mirror to be returned to the room. You are not powerless. You can stand in your own light once again, because true wholeness is not found by perfectly attaching yourself to another person. It is found in realizing that you were never broken in the first place. But calling your energy back is only the preparation for the final, most profound surrender. And this is where the final truth begins. 9. The quiet peace of a loose grip. What if the ultimate act of love is not holding on, but finally setting them down? We began this journey by looking at the heavy, jagged stone you have been carrying. You have spent so much time walking down a weary road, clutching the ghost of a relationship that has already ended in physical reality. You have fired the second arrow of overthinking. You have fought the natural changing of the seasons. And you have stood in the river shouting furiously at an empty boat. You did all of this because your mind convinced you that letting go meant losing everything. You believed that if you finally opened your hand, you would be left entirely cold, bitter, and alone. But here is the truth that brings all of this together. The deep exhaustion you feel in your chest is the absolute proof that you are trying to carry something that no longer belongs to you. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that true peace is never found by forcing the world to stand still. Peace is not found in dragging an ended relationship into the present moment and desperately demanding that it breathe. It is found in the quiet, profound realization that you do not need to control the past to be safe in the present. You do not need to desperately clutch the sand to prove that the beach was beautiful. Imagine standing at the edge of the ocean one last time. In your clenched hands, you hold the memory of everything this person was to you. You hold the laughter, the deep connection, the quiet moments of warmth, but also the sudden silence, the final goodbye, and the unresolved ache of their departure. You have been squeezing these memories so tightly that your spirit is bruised. Now, take a deep breath. Slowly, gently, uncurl your fingers. Do not throw the memories away in anger. Do not curse them. Just let them rest softly on your open palms. Feel the gentle wind arrive and begin to lift them, one by one, carrying them out over the vast water. Watch them drift into the horizon. You are not erasing the love you gave. You are simply returning it to the natural flow of life. You are acknowledging that their season with you has gracefully ended, and you are finally giving yourself permission to step into the space that is waiting for you. Think about your own life right now. Think about the quiet stillness that remains when you stop fighting the current. For so long, you have feared this empty space. But what if this emptiness is not a void? What if it is a beautiful clearing, a wide open sky where your own light can finally expand without needing a mirror to reflect it? Ask yourself, Are you ready to stop carrying the ghost? Are you ready to let the river flow, to let the autumn leaves fall, and to step out of the heavy chain of attachment? Pause. Breathe. You have survived the breaking of the branch. You have felt the raw ache of the first arrow. Now, you simply get to be present. You can carry the beautiful lessons without carrying the heavy pain. You can love the fact that they were part of your story, while deeply accepting that they are not your final destination. There is a profound, quiet freedom in releasing what was never meant to be yours forever. The grip loosens, the shoulders drop, the breathing deepens. You realize that you do not have to become bitter. You do not have to turn your heart to stone. You just have to be here, whole and completely untouched, standing quietly in your own brilliant light. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. You can let go now.